Islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village. Convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Another fantastic Friday, not just on the eve of their show that Mr. Loxley and crew will be broadcasting you live here on Radio Cayman, but in the studio, a chance to celebrate and showcase the success of our excellent students, especially in spelling. And just to make sure, that it works perfectly, Miss Nikki Samuels, the acting senior customer service manager for DES, together with Brian Barnes, the third VP over the Lions Club Grand Cayman, they're going to have a spelling bee competition right here, right now. Right, Mr. Barnes?
No way, Jose.
Okay, not at all. We rehearsed that earlier. I say that to share for our parents in particular, Ms. Nikki, that we think it's easy. And yet, it's not just about knowing how to spell a word, understanding its meaning, its root, and etymology and the like, but the fact that you go up on stage amongst your peers and your parents, and to see our students do that, very commendable, very excited to have them join us. But first, thank you so much, Mrs. Nikki, for coming on board previously to remind us and invite us to come out to be a part of it in last week, Tuesday and Wednesday, right? Yeah, feels like a year ago. But now to actually have the students momentarily share with us. So good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi, good afternoon. So it's actually this week, Tuesday and
this
Wednesday.
Week, hey, listen. I looked at the calendar and go, okay, so thank you. It was this week, Tuesday and Wednesday. And ever since 2020, that was a long century ago, I have honestly lost track of time. I don't know what it is. It's not an excuse. It's just a sad reality. Brian says it's because I'm not out with him often enough, enjoying life. He might be right, but then I can't be young and keep up with him, right? So it was this Tuesday and Wednesday. I think I got it right. One on Wednesday was at the Lions Center, right? The Tuesday before was at, I call it the high school hall, but it probably
the
has
John
a
Gray
different
Performing Arts Hall,
there,
yes.
I still call it high school. Although I still call it Bottle Barkas and Polly Beach, but apparently I haven't up to the time. So tell us about it as we, get our students involved.
Okay, so it was one of the largest that I've seen for participants.
Mm-hmm.
We had for the RBC Royal Bank Primary Spelling Bee competition, there were 69 students that registered, 49 on stage, and that was at the one at the John Gray Performing Arts Hall. Mm-hmm. So you can imagine we had a very full stage. The second competition we had, the Lions Club of Grand Cayman Secondary Spelling Bee competition, that was held at the Lions Center Hall. And 39 students registered, 30 students competing. It was a very strong competition. The children that came out, they came out to win it. And it was a very interesting, on the edge of your seat, Mom is here nodding with me. Some of the words we just assumed that they spelled right because we ourselves didn't know how to spell them. And but the children were amazing. The team spirit, the camaraderie, just amazing day. We really enjoyed it. And normally these spelling bees, it's a flexible finish. We normally see it finishing between quarter to 12, 12:30. The primary one went on we left there about 2 o'clock. Because of how the spelling was going. The kids were not giving up. They just kept going on us, and we went to tiebreakers with the primary. And for the primary, Alexis will be joining us shortly. Alexis Bogle from St. Ignatius Catholic. She got first place, followed by Haley Estwick of Prospect Primary. Taswana Augustine from Creek and Spot Bay came in third place, and these were very close marks. They were one behind the other. And the same for the secondary. We have joining with us Amarita from Triple C School, and Swain from Lehman Scott came in second, literally 1 point behind, and Kennedy Wilder from Cayman Prep, very close, the three of them. So we're very proud of all of our spellers, and we had incredible support from our sponsors. They were fully on board, even through the whole event. We were still, anything you're doing with children, things will always come up, and they worked together with us, and we had an excellent competition.
Well, I'm glad that you highlighted that for us. And before we ask, Miss Amarita to join us, the proud mother, right? Ms. Rajkumar, how are you? Pull out mic if you wish. It is, and the reason why, if you would allow me, is that many times we, even as parents, but certainly the colleagues, the employers, the neighbors, sometimes we assume and take for granted the contributions of parents because we are parents ourselves. But when we stop, reflect, and realize that a parent isn't just taking the student from A to B, you're there encouraging. Sometimes you feel bad. Oh no, you can't go play just yet. You got to finish your work, or please eat that, or don't eat so much of that. Little things that become significant only when you become a grandparent, I'm told.
Absolutely. Well, I must say in our case, Amrita has always been a very disciplined child when it comes to her studies. So I do want to give her full credit for her accomplishments, actually. As parents, we dare to support her because when she told us she was going to compete, of course, we were very happy for her. We knew she had the ability. We knew it was going to take a little extra out of her because she already has a very heavy workload at school as it is. But we knew she had the ability, and the fact that she wanted to do it. As parents, you have to support your children because they want to reach their full potential. And it's a learning experience for her altogether. So we were very happy that she wanted to do it, and we fully supported her, of course.
This is where the parental support is so crucial.
Absolutely.
If I might, through you, ask Ms. Amarita. Your mom say you wanted to do it, and I know of you sort of from a distance, and I commend our parents for their commitment to our students. But if the child doesn't want to do something, it is going to be hard. Absolutely. Is it okay to first ask you, and again, publicly congratulations, what made you want to do this? I mean, many of us shy away from these things. Ask Mr. Brian. But you were still up front and center.
Well, I was known for always being a good speller, and I actually didn't volunteer myself. My friends,
the truth comes up.
They know I'm a good speller, so one of my friends actually told the teacher, I think Amrita will do it, and the teacher came up to me and I was like, yeah, I'll do it.
and thank you for sharing that, because this is where we have peer pressure, and it can be positive peer pressure. Still pressure. And there are your classmates, your friends who believe in you, who encourage you, who are there supporting you. And that is what I would like us to do as a community. We bring something to someone because we're on the way. We go take something to someone because we can. It's very important.
Absolutely.
All right. Come back to Mr. Amarita in a second. But Brian, you had the easier part, man. You just need to stay there and be handsome. And come here to represent.
All I had to do was stand there with my Lions vest on and do some things, organize some sponsors, get my. I had a very great chairperson under me, Mr. Lion Derek Tibbetts, and Derek was, even when the competition started, Derek was out there running around finding more prizes and presents, and I was there to get the place set up and help organize. But all the kids, like I said it there, every single one was a winner. Amrita, she stood up there. She was actually the last one to go on stage, right at the end. You couldn't see her. She just came out there, and she spelled cold as ice.
Yeah.
She listened to the word. I think it's only once or twice she asked for a definition or a word in this, and then never a word in the sentence or origin.
No. Yeah.
And
can you spell that? We say it, but we don't spell it like the bird fruit. So. But with that, Brian, I was trying to remember how long Lions have been involved with the spelling. Like
this is actually a 40th year.
Yeah, it's been a while, because I think Brian was 4 then, I believe.
Ooh, no.
No.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Exposure.
And that level of commitment from an entity like a service club, the level of support and sponsorship by different corporate entities, but it's back to the parents, but it's the education department. And I want to come back to Ms. Amarita for a second, through her mom, because Brian alluded to it, that, the smallest one, not only the diminutive stature, but age. She's in the secondary school.
Yeah.
but she's not ready to graduate.
Not yet.
Not yet. And her father is waiting, give her a little longer. So I still have to share to our parents that it doesn't matter the age of our child, it's their sort of instruction, their example, what we provide for them. How do we get through you, Mom, other parents to understand that, you know what, keep it up. You're doing a good job. Step it up when you're not necessarily, always there, but make time for yourself.
Well, with Amrita and with any child, I mean, especially at this age, Amrita's a teenager. They're going through so much happening in the world, that could distract them. And as you mentioned earlier before, peer pressure, it could go either negative, positive. Amrita we've been very close contact with most of her very close friends for years. We've established a bond with most of her very close friends, with the parents. And I see that as an integral part of her all-round development. The support system that she has with her friends, the encouragement, the positivity, it's always been there. And we foster that. We do whatever we can to encourage them to socialize as much as they can with each other, because, like I said, their workload is so heavy. The commitments that these children have, the obligations that are on them these days. It's such a competitive world that they need to have that support system, and they need to have that downtime. So we always try to encourage that as well. Work hard, play hard. And we've seen that with Amrita throughout, and even in her little sister as well, following in her footsteps. Because as you might have known, I shouted to my little one too. She was also entered in a spelling competition. She represented in the primary as well.
Nice.
So Amrita has been a fantastic role model for her little sister as well, and I really hope that they would continue in that route with each other and with their friends.
Congratulations. And as you go into the break, I'm hoping that other parents, and I'll take instruction from you as parents to me, something that inflames me, if as close as possible, when I hear the term helicopter parent. I do not understand that.
Amrita knows that.
Yeah? Because one of my sisters has always shared, you can't be a lazy parent. You're not going to be doing for your child always, but you need to know, as you said, who your children friends are.
Absolutely.
Have them in your house, understand what's happening, and you give them their space. But at the end of the day, they're going to be accountable for what they do, but you're going to be responsible for them, because you're 90 years old, God's willing, your children are still there. They're still your child. You're still loving, nurturing, caring, and concerned. So when we come back, maybe talk a little bit so that our children, and more important, our parents understand the importance of continuing that relationship. But would it be okay to ask Ms. Amrita, were there particular things that you did, not to give us state secrets and strategies to prepare? Were there words that you looked at and go, is this a word that may toss me off a bit? Could we talk a little bit about it? Would that be okay when we come back?
Yeah.
All right, and then Brian, as we go into the break, let's you sing. Ready? Dun. Come on. Anybody knows Mr. Barnes? He's as jovial as his father. All right, we're going to pause and take that break, and when we come back, more talk today.
They say variety is the spice of life, and that's why at Subway we're introducing the new boneless hot sub. Say what? The premium sub brings new ingredients like spicy breaded boneless chicken, French's crispy fried onions, and buffalo wing sauce, bringing a zesty and flavorful experience with every bite. Add some of your favorite veggies, cheese, and ranch sauce of your choice of freshly baked bread for the ultimate boneless hot sub. For a little spice in your life, try the new boneless hot sub from Subway.
So good and tasty.
And make it a meal with a drink and chips or cookies. Subway. Eat fresh.
Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Town. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
So, you fought the Black Friday crowds, right? Got the black eye to show for it, but no presents? Don't worry, Roro Variety has you covered. One day only tent sale, Saturday, December 3rd from 7 a.m. T-shirts 5 for $10, jeans, you name it, Roro has it. Shoes, household items, bathroom accessories, towels, clocks, and handbags. The Roro Variety tent sale, Saturday, December 3rd from 7 a.m. Roro Variety Store, Tropical Plaza, Spitz Road. Phone 924-9553.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
J&M Money touching down again. Now you can send your US dollars at any location on island, including the BRAC. It's easy. Just walk with your US dollars. No need to convert to CI. This is another convenient service available at J&M Money. They always find a way to make it easier and hassle-free. So remember, when you need to send your money and you only have US dollars, don't ever think of what to do. Just head straight to any J&M Money location and send your money. The fast, convenient, and affordable J&M Money. J&M Money, touching down again. J&M Money, ranga to la friend.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Pure and cleaner.
To all our valued customers, our household special ends on Friday, December 9th. Our standard discount schedule continues on your wearing apparels at our two convenient locations, Savannah Countryside and 337 Eastern Avenue. Drive through, rain or shine. Call 949-7104. That's 949-7104. Puritan Cleaners. You feel good when you look good.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Good afternoon, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. And if you miss the Spelling Bee competition, God's willing, next year, hopefully the same place, certainly going to be the same time as it always been. Miss Nikki Samuels, you can say last time you were on, you remind us, make a note, mark the date, because it's almost the same time every year.
It's the last Tuesday and Wednesday of November, always.
Yeah, it's like that first Monday in October if you're from the US, you know what I mean? But last Tuesday and Wednesday of November. Well, hey, you know what? I would ask Mr. Barnes to do it. Miss Nikki, you want to introduce all our guests again? I mean, I'm going to prepare you for your transitional role as, you know, the president of the world.
So, I don't have the names of some persons, but this is Brian Barnes.
No, Lion, not Lion Brian Barnes.
Lion Barnes. So he is he's representing the Lions today, and they have been our sponsor for the last 40 years, without a break, for the secondary spelling bee. And on my left, I have
Ms. Rajkumar Singh.
Miss Miro, which is our secondary school's winner's mom. And then following her, I have Miss Bogle, who is also mom. So we have lots of mothers supporting here today. The mother of Alexis Bogle, who's managed to join us today as well. She is from St. Ignatius Catholic School, and she's our first place winner for the RBC Royal Bank Primary Spelling Bee. And of course, you met her before we went on break, which is our first place winner from Triple C, Rita.
Okay.
And our host.
Well, leave the best for last, right?
Our Sterling, our host for today.
Thank you. And for those who are just joining us, this is not only the intellect and the competence that we have within this class civil service that we're creating, but within the Department of Education Services. So to Mr. Mark Ray and all of the team over there, this is what we have. Right, Mr. Barnes? Like the Lions, you'll get the chop on the spot.
Yeah,
right?
the education system was shortchanged from our time going to school.
Oh, because we didn't go to school.
But I only went half days on Fridays, take lunch with my little sister. Oh, I'd have a little sister.
No, we joke, but that's part of the love and the surprise. And you are right, Miss Nikki. 7 of us assembled, 5 wonderful ladies, and of course the mothers are evident. Fathers always proud of the daughters. Ms. Amarita, if I could ask again, as we go into the break, sharing you how you prepared, what things, and then we'll ask young Miss Vogel for her contribution. But from your perspective, what was it like preparing? What did you do, if you wish to share? Because next year you're going to win again, right?
Well, next year I think I'll be a little bit too old to enter. So I guess.
Sister.
Oh yeah, my little sister. So what I did was we basically got 2 packets of words, and I went through each packet and I looked at words that I knew I was going to mess up on. So I starred them and I went over them and over them and over them. And then I went home and I found some websites that would help, and I would basically type in the word and I would hear the word and then I would type it in. So yeah.
Awesome. All right, Ms. Bogle, again, congratulations to you as well, and as the champion for the primary school. Welcome. I'm glad to know that we have not just wonderful students, but amazing, committed parents. So, with your mom there and your father cheering in the stands, near the sidelines, it's right there. Good afternoon. Congratulations to you, Mom.
Thank you.
Tell us about the competition. How was it like for you?
It was very nerve-wracking. Me and my friends thought both of my friends got out on the second round, and I thought I was going to get out the next round right after that when we were doing it, but I made it, and then all I wanted was to get into the top 3, and then all of a sudden I won the whole thing.
Amazing.
Amazing indeed. And that sort of shows how sometimes deliberately, but almost instinctively, there's goal setting. She had a goal, and as our mom, what is that like? Watching her prepare, pull out my clothes, try to.
Yes, she's usually very goal-oriented, and once she's decided she wants to tackle something, she's very focused. She's just zoned in on that. So it was something that she was very proud that she was able to take part in, and so she did take it seriously that way. But I know she also felt like there were so many others, so I think she wasn't expecting too much, but just going in and trying to focus on the experience of it and just being honored to be part of it and learning from it. Because, of course, you're going to learn new words, which will help your vocabulary and your writing and everything. So it's only so, there's good in every way just being part of it. So also there was a lot of camaraderie with her and her friends who were on the team, and they supported each other and helped each other a lot. So that was also a great experience for her.
And I think as I listen to moms, Miss Nikki, we're seeing almost a pattern. Support and nurture our children, be there, give them space, but help them to define it. And for those listening, you might think, well, why is it not focused on the children? I think we need to appreciate that the environment we create for our children defines not only their success, but how much fun, how much value, what's their quality of life. So as 2 moms, how do you speak to that? Share with me first. Ms. Raj, you want to go first?
Because I completely, that's like 100% our ethos when it comes to raising our children. Just as we said, we get to support them. We recognize their abilities, and we know that we need to support them. And I don't want to use the word push, because it's never a good idea, I think, to really push your children into something because we feel is what we want for ourselves. We have to recognize that these are the leaders of the future and give them the opportunity to grow into their own. And like I said, we have 2 daughters who have proven to us time and time again that they're on the right path, and we just want to keep encouraging them. But to speak to the importance of building that community, knowing who your friends are, knowing their parents, just that interaction and just knowing, being involved at that level in your children's life is so key. Again, like I say, because the world today there's so many distractions to move them away from what's really, really at the core important. There's just so much that we need to keep them, to let them know who your home is, your safe space. This is where you let us know whatever is, because we always encourage open communication with them. Obviously, you want to know what's going on, but you don't want to be pushy.
Yeah.
You just want to let them know we're here to support you. But you come to me when you're ready, that sort of thing. And we've established our relationship with our children. And, of course, like I said, fathers too. Fathers need to, be big up as well, because mothers are always the ones to give the tender touch and to be, but dads, the way they care for their kids as well, and the way that they involve in their children's life is so important as well. So it takes a team effort, but of course, and at the end of the day, also my daughters, do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Don't disrespect others. Respect others, but do what makes you happy. So when Amrita wanted to enter this competition, I knew it was something she genuinely wanted to do, and we encouraged her, and we admire her attitude towards it, the way she was preparing. She just gave you like a brief look into what this child did to prepare herself. She dedicated herself without any pressure from us to do this. She would be up in her room on her computer typing out those words, skipping dinner. I would have to take dinner up to her. It could be her best, most favorite dinner. She would just look at that thing and just go back to her spelling. It didn't even, she was not phased. She just had that
drive, huh?
And then she was also very proud to represent Triple C as well, because it had been quite a few years that Triple C had even entered the competition. So it was actually a good opportunity for her as well to represent her school. So it all comes back to that community and that joint team effort. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I appreciate that, and I certainly want to speak to our students, but again, I keep saying to parents, we are the reason sometimes why your children do not succeed, right? And I didn't say fail, but we want to take credit for their successes. Not always is their drive. So if we're not providing that, Ms. Bogle, to what Ms. Rajkumar Singh shared, in a local parlance, we would say, don't forget who you're for.
Yes.
And it's not just your immediate family, it's your wider community, your school, your district, your island, your country. To you, Mom, that preparation, that representation, it brings pride and joy.
Yes, of course, yeah. I think Amrita's mom said it well. You
notice how we don't have names with
yeah. So I think she said it well. She kind of covered it all, where you just have to create that safe space, give them the support that they need, guide them, but also allow them to sort of learn themselves too, and learn what works for them, because we're all different in the way we might approach something, they may not approach it. I also say that I know she was very proud to take part, because I think this might be the first time St. Ignatius took part in it, I believe. So,
well, not for a while.
Or maybe for a while, like same, like Triple C, I guess. Yeah, so it's been a while. So she took it very seriously, and she worked very hard, and she was very dedicated to doing her best. But yes, I think we just all have to, let them find their way, but like you said, be on the outside there, guiding, making sure that, sort of, you got to balance it. Balance.
They don't get some places unless we drive them.
Yes, right. You don't want them to just not be driven, but, you also have to find what drives them.
Yeah.
And, so
it's a balance.
Balance. So but she pretty much did it all. It was all her.
All right. So just remind me of a break. If it's okay when we come back, Ms. Dickey, you can share with us and through our moms, if we could, and ask our students again, someone there, their plans and a little bit about the competition. That's okay. All right, we're going to pause, take that short break. When we come back, let's see if the fish tea is ready. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
'Tis the season of gratitude. From the MedLab family, happy Cayman Thanksgiving.
Savannah Pharmacy saved my life.
Really? Was it the medication they got you?
No, not this time. I forgot my wife's birthday. they were the perfect place for last-minute shopping.
That's one way to give yourself heart failure. Don't wait last minute for Christmas. Savannah Pharmacy is stocked up for Christmas right now. Gifts for men, women, and children. Home decor, clothes, toys for all ages, fragrances, candles, handbags, and so much more. I was there the other day, and trust me, they'll even wrap all your presents too.
Savannah Pharmacy, a lifesaver in more ways than one.
Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village provides you with more than just prescriptions. Always just around the corner with everything your family needs for this holiday season. WhatsApp your prescription refills to 929-5045.
Excuse me, I noticed you from afar.
Really? Me?
Well, not you. The KFC sandwich you're eating?
Oh, Zinger.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be funny.
No, it's called the Zinger Sandwich. Crunchy, juicy, 100% chicken breast, crisp lettuce, sweet mayo on a seeded bun with a little zing. KFC's chicken is not factory breaded, frozen and refried like the Burger Boys. Customize your KFC Zinger and dip it in barbecue sauce.
Wow, now I'm starting to notice you too.
KFC, it's finger licking good.
Switch from slow to experience data on the fastest and most reliable network. Our new Christmas specials are just for you, giving you the best value. Buy and stay on any Christmas plan and get 10 gigabytes any use data on us every month for a year. That means more music, more entertainment, more sports, and more ways to stay connected for the entire year. Available exclusively on our new Christmas plans. Hurry in store today to take advantage of this limited time offer. It's the Christmas that keeps on giving. Digicel. Merry Christmas.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its valued customers that their offices are now closed, both in Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac, for a staff function. For Cayman Brac, any truck water orders received today that have not been delivered today will be carried over tomorrow, Saturday the 3rd of December, or Monday the 5th of December. Customers in Cayman Brac are encouraged to plan ahead. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its customers and do apologize for any inconvenience this may cause.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks to all of our parents in particular. I know even as educators we're parents, and as parents we're educators who continue to invest and involve ourselves in the lives of our children and to the Department of Education Services. Mr. Samuels, thank you for ably representing us as part of this spelling bee, and to Lions Club Grand Cayman, Third VP Mr. Barnes, for joining us. Because without that 4 decades plus of consistent, concerted commitment to our children in many facets, the challenges and struggles and tribulations that we may face in society, we don't appreciate how increasingly difficult they may be in absence of that. Mm-hmm. So as we go back around the table and talk to our students, Ms. Nikki, through you first, where do we go from here with this spelling bee? I mean, 40 and then next thing will be 120. So,
well, I think as with anything, nothing should stay stagnant. And we should monitor our trends and anything you're doing, it should always be a living, breathing thing. So when I first joined the Department of Education Services, I was sharing with the moms that the spelling bee, I'm sure some of our listeners would remember, it was in hubs. So you had the Western Hub, the Eastern Hub, Central, and the Sister Islands. And then we managed to get permission to change that all the children were competing at the same time. So it was a more transparent, fair, competitive environment. And also that when they're competing, it's not just you're there to spell 16 words like myself, I would, mess up on the first word and that's it. But you were there the whole time to, you're there as long as you're spelling the word. So it became more of a competition situation. We currently use the Gleaner's own spelling bee. In that is something regional and more relevant to our students, it was felt. And we are looking towards, I'm sure the young ladies are aware that there is a larger spelling bee that happens, Scripps. And we are looking at how that one is formatted, because it's not just the spelling of the words. There is several rounds that you have to go through. You have to know definitions, you're transcribing, so they're checking your grammar, your punctuation, and things like that. So we are looking at, monitoring our students. We are aware our students were so strong, and then we went through that really bad word that we don't really like to say anymore, COVID. And, we did see a difference in what was presented to us, just simply because the children were dealing with so many things and trying to get back on track. This year was tremendous to see that amount of students coming out. It shows that our society and our schools are really working diligently to get our students where they need to be. And we are looking at trying to, probably within the next couple of years, phase in some of the other elements that we see in Scripps, just to make it even, because our kids, if you were there or you watched it, you were aware that the kids were just, what do you say, cold as ice. They were just going through these words. So to make it more challenging for our students and more beneficial as well, we're looking at transforming it just a little bit more to make it, and also to be seen as more of a international, should our students, sometimes families move to different jurisdictions, they should be able to transition into any environment.
And thank you for sharing that, because I think our students sometimes, we, even as parents, but as a society, don't give them sufficient credit, not just for their aptitude, but their application and their diligence and commitment. And we see the parents' involvement. We see studies that say, that parent who's more actively engaged in the lives of the children, the child not only make healthier choices and decisions, but enjoy the success. Through our moms, if I could probably start with Ms. Amrita first. If it's okay to ask, you shared thankfully, some of your preparation strategies and like, where do you see this competition, and then to Ms. Bogle as well, if you wish, the preparation for it and your participation and of course your success? How does this help you with future studies and even now?
Well, I think I learned a lot about myself while I was studying, like how, when I just start something, I just don't want to stop. So that just taught me that you should keep pushing, and you should refrain from procrastinating, because once you procrastinate, that's like your biggest invisible enemy. It stops you from getting on task. So I would say to just start 5 minutes of the task, and once you start, you just don't feel like stopping. So.
Wow, I wish we had learned that already. Maybe some of the adults go, wow, out of the mouth of babes. 5-minute rule. Ms. Bogle, if I might, what about you? Preparation for this, and then how that helps you going forward.
How I prepared for the spelling bee.
Yeah, and then yes, ma'am.
My mom normally helped me a lot, so she would have the words and then she would read them out, and if I got it wrong, we would underline it with the highlighter, and if not, we would just highlight, and if I did get it right, then she would highlight it, and then we'd go over the page again until I got it right. And we basically did that with all the papers, and yeah, that's how I prepared.
No, but thank you for sharing it, and I'm so looking forward to not just next year's competition, but perhaps as we encourage each other as parents. So as we close the discussion, thanks so much to both of you. But Ms. Bogle, any sort of closing thoughts you might want to leave with our listeners, and then Ms. Rajkumar Singh as well?
Sure, yes. I would like to congratulate her again. I would also like to congratulate her teammates and her teacher, Miss Johnson, Also give credit to, to them and the school, because the foundation was set, She's been there since nursery. So, yes, so I just wanted to say thank you to them also for the great support that they've given her. That's it.
Yes, well.
And I would just like to say congratulations to Amrita. Darling, you did excellent. I don't like to use the word proud too much, but it brought us great joy to see that your hard work paid off like that. And it's a reminder to everyone that when you put your mind to something and you want something, really and truly, nothing should come in your way. Just put that mindset and give it your best. So I'm actually really, really happy for you, Amrita. You know that your family is really happy, and we share in this joy for you. The joy and the support to Triple C. So I want to say thank you to Triple C as well for giving you this opportunity, and of course the Lions Club for all these years and being dedicated to such an important stepping stone in the community. Because curiously enough, it's been a couple of years we were asking ourselves, why doesn't Triple C take part in the spelling bee? It's such an opportunity. We see it happening, and it just wasn't. She was, so we were really happy when they finally decided to do it. So thanks again to the Lions Club for supporting such a worthy cause, and we wish you guys all the best as you continue to develop such an important milestone for us.
Yeah. Can I say one more thing?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Just a little tidbit. So whenever we'd be working on spelling, or she was doing her spelling homework, or I'd test her, I would always make a joke that if there's ever a spelling bee, you should really be in it.
Yeah.
I think you would win.
That's what Amrita's dad used to say.
More like within the school. And so it was a constant joke between us. And then she came home and said,
right?
I've been chosen to go to the spelling bee. And then she won. So it's this little joke between us now that, I guess mom's intuition. I don't know.
What? Put it into being. Put it into being. All right. Well, thanks. And then Mr. Martins, your words, and then Ms. Nikki.
Well, first, congratulations again to all the winners. Like I said, all the kids, very, very proud. They were all winners. But my main thing today, I'd like to say congratulations and a big thank to all of our major sponsors, the Department of Education. A very big thank you to Cayman Airways, the Flowers Group, who stepped up, especially Cayman Airways, who provided some beautiful airline tickets to the winners. Don't know where you're going yet. Also, the MP Isaac Rankin for the iPads the kids going to get. And it was just great. All the sponsors out there, especially Cayman Airways, for all the goodie bags, the prizes. Great. Thank you very much. Hope to see you again next year. We will come up begging and asking for more, try to get more to keep the spelling bee going. And again, I told all the kids, thank you, thank you, thank you. Congratulations. Study hard next year. To all you kids out there listening, study hard next year. Come on out, step up to the plate, be like Amrita, win and smile.
And to you, Ms. Nikki.
Just say thank you to everyone on board. Our sponsors have been incredible. The support from the school has been amazing. To see the parents come out as well, icing on the cake. It shows that it does take the whole community to get this organized and done. And we're all here behind you always to support you. And a lot of times we're not aware, like Mom was saying, sometimes we're not aware of things happening in the community. Sometimes things are happening, but we're not a part of it. So to take the initiative to, inquire with your school. We've even had, last year we had a student that inquired if they could take part on behalf of their school independently. So they asked if they could register. They went back to their school, and of course their school registered them for the spelling bee. So sometimes there's a lot happening in our schools, and sometimes they have to cherry pick what it is they're going to be able to do, just simply because there's so much. So we really do appreciate the schools coming on board this year as they did, and we're hoping to see it continue to grow. And our young ladies, I know you're not in the last year of your respective schools, correct? You're going?
She is in the last year.
You're in your last year.
Tell her what year.
Yeah, in year 6.
You're in year 6. So some reason I thought you were in year 5. So when you go into year 7 in the high school, you can compete again for the secondary. So, all right.
All right.
And we'll be here to support you. And then my friend from Triple C, what you can do is we've seen other competitors that have won. They continue to coach. So if you want to have a spelling bee club in your school, because sometimes, it is, spelling bee is coming up, so you have to scramble and get children, but you can, actively campaign to have a spelling bee group and club and, head that up.
And perhaps, in future discussions, just to encourage education. And one of the challenges here is we have a, defined time. But thanks to Ms. Susan for giving us a few extra minutes into the news and into the next segment. As mums, thank you all. And as students, truly our love and prayers for your continued success and health and enjoyment as your parents encourage. All right, we're going to pause and take that break. And when we come back, more Talk Today.
Today's biggest news.
Radio K-Man.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio K-Man's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. Northside and East End residents are reminded that Saturday, December 3rd, 2022 is the last day of bulk waste collection in the area, also bringing to an end a 4-week schedule announced for Grand Cayman. In international news, Russia says the West's refusal to recognize new territories seized from Ukraine makes peace talks harder after President Joe Biden indicated he would be ready to meet Vladimir Putin. The Kremlin said it was open to negotiations, but not on the West's demand to pull out of Ukraine. Russia illegally annexed 4 Ukrainian regions at the end of September without controlling any of them. 9 months into its invasion, it has lost more than half the land it seized. Kanye West has been suspended from Twitter and accused of inciting violence over offensive tweets just 2 months after his last ban. The U.S. rapper posted a series of erratic tweets, one of which appeared to show a symbol combining a swastika and a Jewish star. Also on Thursday, during an interview with U.S. conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, and with his face covered in a mask, West praised Nazi leader Adolf Hitler and ranted about sin, pornography, and the devil. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio K-Man on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio K-Man app or log on to our website, radiokman.gov.ky.
Radio K-Man is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Born in Watering Place, Cayman Brac, on the 8th day of July, 1936, Captain Fred Elman Scott was the 5th child born to Nalio and Vera Scott. Not only did Captain Scott work the seas for over 52 years, but he was mathematically inclined. In the early 70s, Captain Scott received his first calculator, eventually moving on to computers. After retiring from sea, Captain Scott used his knowledge of navigation, his love for mathematics, and general knowledge to write various computer programs that would impact the lives of the people of the Cayman Islands, such as payroll calculation and a program that could tell the depths at any point of the Georgetown Harbor, which would allow him to give any ship in port the coordinates to drop anchor. However, his pride and joy was his weather program that could detect when a storm formed anywhere in the world, and was able to track and forecast its path. To create this program, he first drew the world map by using actual coordinates from the various coastlines around the world, including the most minute coves. This information would be transmitted by his shipping mates from around the world, making him the local reliable source on storm predictions.
Radio K-Man is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
This is how we wake you up in the morning. Praise time on Radio K-Man.
Praising the dancer, praise the healer, jumping, he's my provider. Are you ready? Here we go. Set. I feel like running, skipping,
praise time.
Jesus in the morning. I will. So send me, Lord, I will go. Born again. Thank God I'm born again.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. In about 20 minutes or so, we have the excellent company of Mr. Loxley Banks to join us once again as we talk to you about the upcoming air show. But first, a lady who puts her hair, where her heart is, and who is willing to stand in the gap to commit. Just shows you what she does in her personal life to bring that same level of professionalism to her public life. None other than the wonderful Miss Ventisha Conley. Thank you for coming over from the ministry and joining us. I came on Christmas, coming up very soon.
Yes. Hi, Sterling. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for having me back.
Always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure. And we get a chance to share because, unlike other places in Cayman, we get the Christmas breeze, the cassava cake, the custard cornbread.
And the Christmas breeze started on the 1st of December. I was so surprised and thankful for it. My dogs are thankful for it.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings at times because friends and family who, operate in the marine environment, they chop a sea sometimes, but a good cool Christmas breeze goes a long way.
Yes, it
let's
does.
enjoy it while we can.
Yes.
All right, so tell me, December the 14th?
December the 14th. So in the ministry, we plan our Saturdays in the park.
Mm-hmm.
And it's based on, having some event in a park because we have many of them around the island. And I talked about this probably about 6 months back, that we wanted to have these events that highlighted our natural beauty as well as, gave us a family-friendly atmosphere for things to do. So our Christmas edition of it is going to be a celebration of culture and music. And unfortunately, we don't have that many Saturdays in December that aren't already overbooked with events. So we've actually had to do it on a Wednesday.
Just shows you how busy we are. Even, it isn't just the people that are committed, even their days are committed.
Yes.
The days have a say no more.
No. So our Wednesday in the park is going to be a Cayman Christmas, a celebration of culture and music. We are going to have a mini Christmas market. So our food vendors, our craft vendors, and then with that, we are going to have a choir competition.
Mm-hmm.
So I am putting it out, and we've sent it to all the churches in the island, at least all that we could find an email address for, to come and be a part of this. We know that at Christmas is one of the times when the churches tend to try to give a little more to their congregation, and if they can enter this competition and win, that's a little bit more in their coffers to give those who are in need for their church over this Christmas time. So we have a Christmas a choir competition that's open to choirs. 7 or more singers is a choir or a singing group, which is 3 to 6. And they can sing for a chance to win $3,000 for first place, $2,000 for second, and $1,000 for third.
Do you get paid for, someone paying not to sing? Is there a competition for that? So we could enter,
We could do a little group there.
Yeah.
So, me, you, maybe Lynn, or even Susan there,
Yeah, let's do it. 3 or more.
3 or more is a singing group.
Grace says we're 2 more gathered there I am, so... Yeah.
But yeah, so we want to make sure that, we continue this program that we built. Our next one will happen probably in the first quarter of 2023. But this one right now we're focused on is bringing and spreading a little bit of that Christmas cheer. So the choirs will be asked to do one particular song. We are finalizing our judges right now, and the judges will pick one particular Christmas song that each choir will sing. But then they have up to 3 songs as a choir that they can sing to, to get it out there and to show their performances and how good they are as a choir. Because I know there are some really, really good church choirs out there.
I mean, today is the 2nd of December, right? The 12 months in a year, 12 days of Christmas. Between now and the 14th, it's 12 days. Mm-hmm. So people better get, choiring.
Yeah. And so the registration deadline is Friday the 9th of December. We need to know exactly how many choirs we're going to have there. We want at minimum 7 or 8 choirs or singing groups. So I ask the churches and I ask those who want to take part in it, know that it is not a professional competition. It is an amateur competition. And we want you to come out there and put your best foot forward, put your best voices forward, and be a part of this for us. And we're looking actually for this to be a staple on our calendar. So every year around Christmas time, we will do something very similar to this, but it will encompass the choir competition. So it's something that, bragging rights can come with and will come with, because if my church choir from Ebenezer Baptist Church in the Brack comes down and blows them away and wins that, they've got a year to make sure that their game is still up when this comes around next December and say, we're going to hold our title, or someone else will take it from them.
Yeah. And this is where, as you shared, not only sort of the incentive, but the thanks and the acknowledgement that as churches we do and try to support within our community. Here's a little gift in, not so much to incentivize, but to complement the coffers for them to be, charitable and Christian. So $3,000 to the winner, huh?
Yes.
All right. There's some large choirs, whether they want to come as one ensemble or they want to split it up into 2 or 3 groups within the choir to make it possibly. It's a thought. I mean,
it's a thought.
Spread your possibilities.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So I'm going to actually use this time also to call out some vendors, because we do have spaces available for food vendors. So those people who like to, do the local food. I mean, I put on about 4 pounds over Pirates Fest.
So did over one weekend. I've seen
that. My sugar went through the roof. I was down in gallons of water after every piece of cassava cake. It was bad. It was bad.
At least you had water.
I couldn't drink the swanky with it because that would just push my sugar a little higher.
That's what I did.
So we do have spaces for food vendors, but we also want to make it a point of having our craft vendors, our local craft vendors, who hand make their gifts and their trinkets for sale, to come there and have that as another venue where people can pick up those last minute Christmas stocking stuffers. I'm actually waiting on this event to do that. I picked up all the bigger gifts, but those little stocking stuffers I like to buy from our local vendors, because it then reminds my family that we need to support local too. We can buy the Xboxes and we can buy the iPads and whatnot, but our local vendors is what carries our economy too. And
they're unique, special gifts.
Yes,
the things that become not just mementos. Mementos. They become part of our legacy, and when we leave that. So this is next Wednesday the 14th.
Wednesday the 14th.
It's
5 to 9 p.m. at the West Bay Heritage Park. We're going to have bouncing castles for the kiddies to play on. We're going to have snow cone and cotton candy. And we're going to have kind of an old-time Caymanian Christmas yard set up. So you can take family photos if you want. We'll have a photographer there. So if you want to come out and take a few photos in front of our Old Time Caymanian facade, we're gonna have some sand. I might have to buy it from the quarry because I can't go on the beach and pick it up because it's legal.
It's not enough anyway, but sorry.
It's legal and I ain't breaking the law.
I should be here.
But I might have to go and buy some sand. And I have a friend who collects conch shells to use in his art. So I'm going to borrow a few from him. So we're going to have that old time Caymanian, walk up way with the white sand and the conch shells to line and decorate the facade of the front of the house, put some lights on it like that. So it's going to be a very good night in the West Bay Heritage Park.
And it's a time, I think, as we're reflecting on all that's happening, not just in our personal lives or in the country or in the region, but just around the world. All, whether it's good or bad, just a lot that is happening. Maybe a few minutes to catch your breath.
Yeah.
To look around and remind yourself.
And take the time to just come out, even if you don't want to purchase anything or whatever. Come out, sit down, enjoy the music that's going to be there. Sometimes we forget that music plays a huge part of who we are as Caymanians, and this one we want to tie into that. The thing that we identify as Caymanians as being Christian. So, having that element to it and having our Christmas music there brings us back to,
And as I listen to you, this is an event, that's being, held at the West Bay Heritage Park. But we've seen similar things in smaller scales, trying to bring people together. As you shared that, they started before on the 10th, the beautification, task force been in the West Bay District actively. The few of us gentlemen who tried to assist the wonderful ladies, they've been actively preparing for that. So here's a prelude to the Wednesday evening almost, to introduce us, to remind us, to look at the Christmas season and celebrate, to be thankful.
And it actually, there's a couple of them leading up in the West Bay Heritage Park, because our event's on the 14th, and then on the 17th, I just received a little flyer last night that Honourable Speaker of the House, Mrs. Cathy Ann Wilkes, will be having an event there also. So, there's something for you to do almost every night of the week, especially at Christmas. There's marketplaces happening all over the place. There's choir concerts and cantatas happening, and this is a little bit of both that we want to have in put.
And thank you for sharing that, Ms. Ventisha, because this is where, as I listened to, I was thinking that there are going to be a lot of things happening that are tending to be not just festive, but for the families to come out. And I fully understand, as an employee or as an employer as well, that there are much expectations of us from the retail to the year end for the the financial sector. But I don't say it lightly, and I'm serious. Harking back to a day when our fathers, uncles, grandfathers, when they came from sea, there was a time of festivity for whether it's the 12th night as we look at from Shakespeare, but there was a period of time during December when it was almost a national go slow. I experienced it as a young working adult. The financial services sector generally sort of took a little break, right? Offices went to skelter staff. Maybe it's time as a cultural thing that we look at it and not see it as a cost, but as a way to renew our spirit.
Yes.
And have a national go slow.
Yeah. I mean, we've worked hard and overly hard for the last 11 months. I mean, I know my schedule. It is a period of time that I am actually looking forward to. December is the one month where I can actually take a seat back and look and enjoy the festivities that are happening, and not almost being involved in everything. Though
and what it does too, there's a significant change, not just in the weather, but there's a nor'wester that may impede ships coming to the dock, or there's a good day out there with the seas and you can't go fishing. There is a noticeable change in the weather. If it's December and it's hot, you feel maybe it's hot today. You don't expect that. But then there's the Christmas concerts at schools, at the churches. But we're so busy and so tired that when there is something, we're just glad for a few extra minutes for ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, bring our families,
Yes,
take the opportunities.
this is a family friendly event, and that is what we're calling them out to be. Come out, enjoy with your family. The parents can be sitting, watching, and listening to the concert that's happening, and the kids can be on the bouncing castles. There'll be people there to supervise, so you don't have to stand there the whole time and watch your kids. The grounds are fenced in, and there'll only be one entrance and one exit. And if someone sees a kid going out the exit by themselves, they're gonna stop them and say, hey, where's mom, where's dad? So it's a safe environment, and we want to celebrate not just with those persons in Westby because the event is in Westby, but island wide. We want people to come out and be a part of this. Come out on a Wednesday evening, grab the kids on your way down and from home, and just come and enjoy.
And it's close enough to sort of the end of school. Some may be in the midst of other things, but it's a Wednesday evening, 5 to 9, at the West Bay Heritage Park. As we speak to events manager, Ms. Ventisha Conley, Minister of Youth, Sports, Culture and Heritage.
Yes.
As I was looking for a message that came through from one of our listeners just the other day, and it was almost that this person was looking to the future, and had a reference. I'm not going to look for it now so that I'll appear disrespectful. But as I remember the comment, it talked about, us moving away as a country from that time of fellowship. It was written quite nicely, almost poetic. But as I read it, I thought, but what are we doing? I know the individual, and we are employers, we are employees, we have expectations of each other. The customer has expectations of us. There are deadlines that not only month end but year in that have to be met. And if you don't do it, it affects your performance appraisal. It affects your bottom line. It may even incur a fine because you haven't reached that mandatory regulatory deadline. And yet, we expect people to be festive.
Yes.
See the trick of an enemy that we have fallen for.
Yes. So, but this event, and I'm redubbing it Wednesday in the park. Our celebration, Christmas celebration, brings us back to that point of fellowship and camaraderie and just being one big family. Because I mean, when I think about where I'm from, it's it was one big family.
Yep.
It wasn't the fact that you were from this district and you were from this district. It was one big family, especially when it came to Christmas. Everybody celebrated together, and that's the atmosphere that we want to bring back and push from the ministry with our celebrations like this. So
5 to 9 p.m. on the 14th of Wednesday.
Yes.
Many times we find that, understandably, there are reasons, there's an admission charge, there's something.
No.
You have 4 hours, it's the cool of the evening this time of year, sun goes on kind of early, it's a nice Christmas breeze. But admission, I understand, is quite affordable this time.
Yeah, it's free. Yes, the admission is free to everyone. You just need to pay for whatever crafts you purchase and any food that you want to partake in.
And we're going to more than likely eat, so maybe for some we have a later lunch to get this for an early supper. And
then this is a time when parents won't have to make dinner. They can say, okay, we'll pick up dinner from there.
And when was the last time some of us, as a family, we sat outside on a nice picnic table, felt the cool breeze, and put our feet up, just sat across, from their child, from our spouse sometimes, and talked. And
I can't remember the last time I did that because it's been crazy busy.
Yeah, I can. It was 1941.
You were just a twinkle in your dad's eye.
That's not what it was.
But yeah, so I just want to make sure that our vendors and our competitors know, the registration is free. There's no cost to register, and but spaces are limited. So especially for the vendors, we want to make sure that it is a first come, first serve basis. So if you want to be a part of this, please reach out to Bev Sinclair at Kelly Holdings. And her number is 623-8825, or you can email her at bev@kellyholdings.com. And then our choirs, it's the same thing, again, the competition will be from 7 to 9. We'll have a green room for them to, stay cool and get all those little jitters out. It's open to choirs, so 7 or more singers and singing groups, which is 3 to 6. And they come and sing for joy and for a chance to win,
The incentive is there, for the cash prize, but it's about celebration. It's about ministry. It's about community. And as I listen to you, I say this openly. I understand the commitments that some of us have. As busy as we are, there's somebody else that's even busier.
Yes.
But they understand the importance of setting aside a little bit of time to catch their breath, to be a part of these community initiatives. If possible, see if we can be that someone who also, for our own health and wellness, come and relax, taste the food, smell the Christmas breeze, feel it over your skin.
Yes.
All right. So, but next Friday is the deadline to make
you
know, huh?
Yes, next Friday, the 9th of December, is the deadline. So prior to that, please call Bev at Kelly Holdings 623-8825 or email her at bev@kellyholdings.com for more information.
So, Ms. Ventisha, thank you very much. Between now and Friday, if we can help you to remind our listeners to do anything, I would love for all of us, and I say this with the greatest of respect and recognition, that we have a lot going on. And for many of us, we don't want to be festive because we have justifiable reasons as to what is transpiring in our lives. But I think we have to try to be festive.
We do. I mean, I know for me, Christmas and for a lot of people, Christmas sometimes is a time for heartbreak and stuff because we've lost, family members around Christmas. So it affects us years later. But then we also have to remember that they wouldn't want us to sit back and still be mourning their passing. They'd want us to fellowship and be with those who are now and still present in our lives. And this is one way to do that.
I'm reminded by a friend who shared, we say we can do this for our children, which is admirable. But he said, do it for yourself, for your own, wellness, your health and well-being. Try to enjoy, try to embrace, try to endure, try to understand that if you're healthy and happy, that can, sort of be reflected in your interactions and serve as an example to inspire others. So, maybe next time you look in the mirror, you'll see a smile that wasn't there for the longest time.
There you go.
Don't feel guilty about it. Embrace it.
Nope.
So the 14th at the West Bay Heritage Park?
Yes, 5 to 9. Yeah. If you have questions, again, please reach out to Bev at Kelly Holdings or give me a call in the ministry. I'm always happy to answer questions. So,
Ms. Ventisha, thank you. I always enjoy when our guests come in. I always hope and pray that they feel welcome and invited and we provide a space for them to share their message. But to all, it's always a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Must be that Camelback spirit. Thank you so much, Mom.
All right.
God's willing, we'll see you again very soon.
Yes.
All right. Next Friday, people, get registered. Be a part of the choir, be a part of the vending, be a part of the craft, and be a part of the participation as we come up with our families.
Yes.
All right. Blessings to you.
Thank you.
But now we want you, when you return, to be a part of our next discussion. Mr. Loxley Ebanks going to join us, going to talk about, the Resurrected Air show, and he's going to bring along, you know what? We're going to tell you. You want to hear a familiar voice? Well, when we return, we'll share with you. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips for all occasions and celebrations. Let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Tis the season of gratitude. From the MedLab family, happy Cayman Thanksgiving.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
After more than 20 years, the Cayman Islands Air Show is back. It's all eyes to the sky on Saturday, December 3rd for a thrilling air show on 7 Mile Public Beach. Witness amazing aerobatic maneuvers as world-class pilots put on a stunning show. Then see the planes and meet the aviators at the Island Air Hangar. Parking permitted at designated sites with free shuttle buses to the events. For all the details and event lineup, visit CaymanAirShow.com. The Cayman Islands Air Show returns Saturday, December 3rd, 10 a.m. at 7 Mile Public Beach and 3 p.m. at the Island Air Hangar.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Dwayne Porter will be taking appointments from December 2nd through the 10th at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.portercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That is 946-9020.
It's the final sale of the year at Reflections with up to 50% savings on selected famous brands such as Nike, Reebok, Puma, US Polo, Adidas, Levi's, and Dockers pants for men and women. This holiday gift-giving season, Reflections gift certificates are the easiest way to share your love with friends and family. Levi's and Dockers holiday collection just arrived. Discover your new style and enjoy huge savings on shoes, bags, accessories, and the most fashionable clothing for all your holiday parties. Hurry in today. Purchase Reflections gift certificates for everyone on your shopping list and outfit yourself from their finest holiday collection. Don't miss up to 50% off savings at Reflections Holiday Sales Event. See yourself in Reflections. Open 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Thursday and until 9 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. Reflections is located on Sheridan Road across from Napa.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Good afternoon, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. And I'm always honored to be able to sit with Mr. Loxley Banks, because not only does he remind us of the incredible history we have, and for many of us we think of just the maritime, but for those who paid even the English insight into anything, we recognize that we have an incredible aviation history. So welcome to this special Radio Cayman C.I.Retro Talk Today special on the Cayman Islands Air Show, as Mr. Loxley have sort of coined it, the resurrection. And joining me is equally Mr. Loxley Banks and our very own Captain Miller. So thanks very much for having us. 20 years, Mr. Loxley reminds us, in the 1980s and the 90s, Aviation Week and the Air Show was the most attended community happening in this country. And this year's Air Show also celebrates 70 years of aviation history in the country. Back in 1952, for those of us who pay attention to history, we're reminded that the first aircraft landed at what is now christened Dwayne Roberts International Airport. And I defer a lot, not just to history books with these writings, but equally the incredible memory of many of our stalwarts in the community who remind us that the aviation in Cayman was in the mid-1930s. Even as we look at Ms. Catholic, the whole idea of what is probably the greatest schooner ever constructed, the Goldfield. My father said she was so fast that before you cast off the line to go to Tampa, she'd already arrived. So she was quick as a stick. It was lovely. But it's a familiar story that you've heard relayed often. The Goldfield is at anchor in the West Bay Whitehall. She breaks away, from her mooring. She sets her drift, and in short order, she's sort of, because of the freak storm, contact is made to one of the amphibian Royal Navy planes. And once that search for that drifting schooner, for some of us, it was not just what was on board, the groceries, the cargo, but the mail, the most connected part to our country. Stuff coming from what Susan says, Mr. Loxley, Tampa Flea.
Tampa Flea.
And from the maritime aspect, from the catboating, from the turtling to the Muscular Coast, to the aviation, that first landing in the North Sound, with the seaplane, as we call it, to the Concorde not that long ago. Cayman has been instrumental in showing history as it unfolds. So thank you again. I can't say it sufficiently how grateful, publicly and privately, I am. And the little that I've had to prepare initially, I know one of the final gentlemen, his reputation precedes him in the best of way. It's amazing, but I may share a story if I have chance. But to you, Mr. Loxley, thanks so much, sir.
Yeah, well, looking back at that Goldfield story, that's a whole story in itself.
It is,
someday we have to put it on the table here.
I gotta share this, right? Because I have asked good sources. It's probably not true, but I can. The Goldfield, even though it was a freak storm and she tripped her ankle, I'm told that Mr. Loxley was responsible for that. He was jumping off her bow, and is that true, sir?
No, I did. I did as a young man.
Yeah. All right. See, partially true.
But the total Cayman Islands history, that was, I would say, the first aviation happening. Mm-hmm. Of course, and then you have the U.S. Navy arrival here during the war years, landing in the North Sound, and then you had the Alan Parker arrival in the amphibian or seaplane, as we all called it, and the landing of the small Beechcraft airplane at 7 Mile Beach in 1948 on the beach area, right behind where the Pinnacle and the plantation or Plantana condo complex is at. And of course, that aircraft actually made, I think, 2 or 3 trips back here. And for the runway, to get it back and forth, we used the straightaway, looking down from where the governor's right down there. It was, I guess, maybe 300 feet straightaway. Roadway.
On the water.
Almost on the water. But, the story of the landing on the beach in 1948 was we had a wreck here, a shipwreck loaded with rice. And it was an insurance adjuster trying to get down here to Cayman to see what was all about. It was a show right in the harbor here. And he tracked his way down through Central America, got to Honduras, and they told him, yes, there is a landing strip in Cayman. So he came over across, and he told the story. When I got there, I could see nothing that looked like a landing strip. And our family lived right on the beach in West Bay, and on that afternoon, we were on the beach enjoying the cool breeze. And my father was home, one of my uncles, home from sea, and we saw this small plane come down below the sky, the trees, and come back up and circle back around and came back down, and we didn't see it anymore. So my father said, he must have crashed. He said, let's get a car, go. And we ran up there real quickly. And he told the story. He said, I was running out of gas. I had no other option but to set it down. And it was a beautiful, calm afternoon. The sea, as we call it in Cayman, was almost like glass. And the surface right down to the surf was pretty well packed, and that's where he landed.
So he had a gear down landing.
Well, I don't think he geared it down very much because it made quite a track on the on the beach. But that is some of the Cayman Islands aviation history. And now we're talking about basically, we're going to get to that a little later though, but the air show today. But the first air show to really happen in Cayman, which hardly anybody saw it, but was when a Catalina aircraft, passenger aircraft, taken off in the North Sound, took a catboat. A catboat is a boat about 15, 20 feet long, up in the air, about 300 feet up in the air behind it. The two people in it.
No, I was going to say not on purpose.
well, no, and you'll hear we got a little clip coming up here in just a minute about the guy who was in the catboat relating this story. So, why don't we go? Let we hear that, Sue, and you can make your own judgment.
Then we can bring a guest in. All right.
What thoughts went through your head when you were going in the air behind this plane?
The thought that went through with me, I just figured to let go. With the boat still touching the water, and everything would have been all right, but it didn't work that way.
But you were good and frightened.
Oh yeah. And I tell you, we had to be real active to do what we done. And the Lord helped us that we didn't get a scratch, but we went close to getting killed, not drowned, killed. But on the return of that plane, I didn't know how to meet Captain Wilson. He said to me, he says, Ben, I don't know what was wrong. I took so long to get airborne, to climb. And I was only about half to 2/3 loaded and plenty of breeze. I said, Cap, if I tell you the truth about it, would you be annoyed? He said, well, whatever it is, you'll have to tell me. I said, we was up in the air behind you. I noticed all of a sudden the plane made a sudden move.
After you let go?
I said, that was after we let go. So he said, you were sure lucky.
Well, actually, how did you get loose?
We cut the rope. You see, to look a knife, we figured just letting go one end, and it would come out of the ring. But instead of the end coming out of the ring, it wound up. So by the time Ira was the one done the cutting, by the time he cut loose, we were done way up.
Oh, well, just put a little context to that. They tied on because they'd taken passengers out to the plane. This was a commercial flight. And they tied up to the plane and they were going fishing. They would want to go fishing immediately after they got this plane off. So their idea was to tie onto the plane and let them take them out, because it was a nice paddle, out to or distance, and they would let the rope go when they got there. But as you heard, when they let the rope go, it did not come out of a thing called a ring, where you tie the rope. The velocity that the rope was being pulled through the ring, it coiled it back. so that was probably the first. As I said, not many people saw it, but
probably first.
That would have been an air show. Well,
there would have been a Kodak moment.
Yes.
The first unofficial air show.
Yes.
That's why we had a Polaroid then, huh? Well, Mr. Loxley, with your permission, sir, let's ask Ms. Cathy to introduce Mr. Allen and Ms. Luna, because many times the commentary that we get with any spectator event is almost, if not better than the actual event itself, and to bring a perspective, the excitement. Now, I love radio, and when the announcers on radio can bring the action to life, I'm thinking, this is Howard Cosell, and there is Ali in the ring, and he's looking, he's bobbing, he's moving, Fraser's on, he's going to be... You feel that punch, you've watched the sweat move from the brow. I think Mr. Allen has brought that to, aviation.
I'm just learning that this is very true.
Yeah.
So this morning I decided, I was like, okay, we got to go to the rehearsal. I have to understand what's going on for this air show because we're doing the broadcast tomorrow.
Yes.
And I knew that there was going to be a main announcer. So Alistair from the Aviation Authority introduced me to Mr. Alan Longtoe. Yes. and then a few minutes later, I met another person who was also announcing, and that is Lunar Sawyer. And both have joined us in studio this afternoon. So I was just getting little clips. If you go to our Radio Cayman Instagram page and look at our stories, you can see a little teaser of what you're going to get from the air show tomorrow. Just a little teaser. And while I was filming this little teaser, Alan was right beside me, and he was giving so much information, and I was like, wow, there's no way I would ever know this. And I don't know about the rest of my team. I know Mr. Banks has his, he's a retired now or former Air Force vet, we could say, right? But he does have his history, at least when it comes to airplanes and being in the Air Force and whatnot. And it was absolutely amazing, the wealth of information that Alan and Lunar were sharing. So I was very happy to bring them to the show today, that they agreed to come and share some of that excitement with our listeners. So if you were listening to For the Record, it's a great show, by the way, but I'm going to say that was just the warm-up to some of the excitement that you're going to hear this afternoon from both Lunar and Alan today, as they give us a little bit of their experience and history in commentating for air shows. So welcome to Talk Today, and thank you so much at the very last minute agreeing to join us today.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, and we're looking forward to this show tomorrow. It's going to be a very exciting show. Hopefully the wind will die down so we'll get some of these additional parachute jumps in, and we have a couple of parachute teams, the Red Bull Air Force and a team called
Fast Tracks.
Fast Tracks. There's 10 of those folks out here from Middletown, Ohio, and they have a team total of about 170,000 jumps.
Wow.
And that is thousands.
I'm just trying to get one, Alan.
And the Red Bull Air Force, which is a smaller team, they have a record of over 100,000 jumps, and they hold the record for the most base jumps. And base jumping is jumping off bridges, buildings, cliffs, mountains, and they do a lot of the bodysuit soaring. That's before they deploy the parachutes, and it's amazing. And it's going to be an exciting show. They did jump today, and they did what they call a swoop jump, landing at high speed. You witnessed that.
I did, yeah.
And one fellow made an intentional stop on the way in. The water looked so good, he thought he was going to take a dip, so he did. Then he pulled his parachute in, got up and walked ashore.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very exciting show. We have two of the world-renowned performers with us, Kirby Chambliss and Skip Stewart. And these fellows fly such an exciting performance. We're a jet team, and Luna will tell you more about that. And the PBY, which is the same type airplane that first landed here in 1952 on the new runway, that aircraft came from Eugene, Oregon. Took them 5 days and 30 hours of flying time to get here. So that was quite a trek.
Wow.
And that is a gorgeous airplane. It's a big World War II aircraft. And this one actually has a very interesting history. It sank a Nazi submarine during World War II southwest of Reykjavik, Iceland. And the Squadron 162, which was stationed in Iceland and Scotland, had a record of 6 submarines to their credit during World War II. So it has a very interesting history. And there's all kinds of static displays that'll be out on the airport ramp. A C-17 from the RAF. There's a C-130 Hurricane Hunter out there from the U.S. Air Force. And the C-47 will be here, the PBY will be here, and the Performers aircraft will also be on display, later in the day after the show is over. So if you want to spend an exciting afternoon, come out to the beach tomorrow and learn more about what these fellows do. And they get down close to the water with these airplanes.
Yes. One of my friends commented on my own personal Instagram, and I thought a plane was crashing, Kathy. What is going on over there? She's in Toronto. And I said, no, this is part of the air show tomorrow. And I didn't know what to expect today, and I did not know I was going to be so excited. I'm very excited still.
Well, that was a very short taste of what you're going to witness tomorrow.
Right.
And they were just abbreviated performances so the pilots can get used to the display area and know exactly where to go and how to get there.
Right.
I believe, Mr. Loxton and Providence Island, the last air show we had some rappelling from one of I think it was Alan Darville, if I remember, but there's a plane, there's a RAF. He's coming down on a rappel and then into scuba dive. Are we going to have anything like that similar this time?
Well, that I don't know if they're going to have any of that. We have several helicopters from the Cayman Islands Police Department will be out there.
Mm-hmm.
And Island Air, I guess it is, Cayman Island Air will be demonstrating their aircraft. And I imagine the Red Bull Air Force will be jumping from a helicopter, and they'll be jumping on, assuming, around 6,000 feet. And they do a lot of free fall stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if they will do any demonstrations with the police helicopters, but there will be a fellow from the police department that will describe what they do and their mission.
We get demonstrations every day from the police helicopters.
If you live in some districts, huh?
We want a hay in West Bay in your district.
Every day.
Yes, I understand they're hovering over your home.
They are hovering over my home as well.
They're trying to get a recipe for her cake.
Yeah.
The sauce is not free.
But
Lunar as well.
Yeah.
So you're specifically announcing on a few planes as well, right? Can you tell us about those?
Correct. So I've been an announcer not quite the length of time as Al, and he is a legend in our industry. So it's pretty exciting. I've actually never worked a show with Al because he retired a few years ago, and I didn't have an opportunity to work with him. So it's very exciting for me as an announcer to be here with such a legend. And the jet team that I'm here with is called Keon Aerosports. We have an L-39 that'll do a single ship, and then we have two S-211s that are a Marchetti, which is an Italian aircraft. The L-39 is a Czech Republic-made aircraft, made in Prague by Aerovodicoti, and the S-211 Marchettis, those are made in Italy, again, trainers. And a lot of these aircraft, when they're decommissioned from a Air Force or other type program, Navy or whomever's flying them, they become what are called warbirds, and civilians buy them. And a lot of the L-39s in particular came into the country, and we call them Cold War era trophies because that's why we ended up with them in America, especially. And just in 2012, there were over 200 L-39s in our country. And Al and I share a friend who was one of the first people to import those into the United States. And the S-211s are a new type of aircraft that's coming over. Not as many people own those. The Keon Aerosports team has two, and so you'll see a demonstration of a single ship L-39. And then later in the afternoon, you'll see the demonstration of the S-211 Keon Aerosports jet team. And then at the end of that S-211 presentation, our L-39 comes in to join for a few passes as well. So we go from a one ship to a two ship to a three ship, and that's the group that I work with. And Keon is a Brazilian-owned company. So we have two American pilots, one Polish pilot, and we're owned by a Brazilian company. So we're pretty
international.
A pretty international group of folks out there who are going to be flying, and I'll be announcing for them. So, and it's a great honor to be here and to do this show on its return as well. For us as airshow professionals, being invited was a great honor, and we just really want to say thank you to Alistair for all the work that he did in ensuring that we got here safely, got all of our documentation done, because, you know, we were making our rounds getting here we all came in from Florida, our group did.
Okay. Now, Alan, it's been 43 years that you've been an announcer, correct? I think you told me
Yes.
43 years.
You know, I started years ago, and it was a fluke, as I told you.
You told me, so I would love to I would love everybody to hear your story if you could share it.
Well, I went to a small air show in Wolfville, New Hampshire, and it was on the upper side of the Lake Winnipesaukee, and it was just a small country air show. And I went up there with a friend of mine who was going to fly in the air show. So I was kind of laying on the ground there, leaning against a parachute, and he took off and he started his routine. Well, the announcer they had was a general store owner from down the road, and you know, I was saying to myself, I can't believe this. You know, it was here they come, there they go. And so I walked over and I said, look, this fellow's a good friend of mine. I know his routine. If maybe I could help you out and I could tell you what he's going to do and so on and so forth. And he said, oh, I'd love it. He handed me a microphone and walked away. And I said, oh, my God, now what do I do? You know, me and my big mouth. So I ended up talking about his routine, and when my friend landed the airplane, he taxied by, and I could see him looking at me like, what the heck are you doing? And that was kind of the start of it. The fellow walked up to me after the show, and he handed me $25. So that was my first paying air show, and that kind of started it. And later on we put Northeast air shows together with 3 aerobatic airplanes. In our first year we did 17 air shows, and every year we'd meet somebody new and we would kind of add them to the air show. And our presentation at the end, after over 20 years of flying together, we had access to 52 different airplanes, all the way from Piper Cubs, hot air balloons, to jet fighters.
Wow.
And we also put together an aerobatics team called the Iron Eagles, and many, many people in the United States, all the way out to the Midwest, are very familiar with these guys. And I was with them for 27 or 28 years. And we were active as a team with the 2 aircraft and myself as a blab for 23 years. And we worked together for many years, and then I finally retired. I had so many years in. And I had done a show for Alistair at BVI in Tortola, maybe 10 or 15 years ago. And I got an email from him. He said he was kind of conned into taking charge of an air show, and he was excited about it. And he said, I'm going to need a commentator. So he said, you were the first one I thought of. Well, you know, after being retired for about 6 years in the air show industry, I live in Massachusetts. The temperature was going down every day, and the wind was picking up. And I said, what's not to like about a trip to the Cayman Islands to announce an air show? So it was an offer I couldn't refuse.
Right.
So
Awesome.
here I am.
Well, welcome. We got to go to our 2 p.m. news. I don't want to cut your story off, but I know that the news is looking at us like, come on, we got to air that news at 2. So we're going to come back. We're going to hear more from both Alan and Lunar and about the history of aviation in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Cayman Islands Development Bank will close at 12 p.m. on Friday, December 9th for a staff function. Normal operations will resume on Monday, December 12th, 2022. In international news, Indonesia's parliament is expected to pass a new criminal law this month that will punish sex outside marriage with imprisonment of up to a year. A politician involved in the draft said the code could be passed as early as next week. The law, if passed, would apply to Indonesian citizens and foreigners alike. Punishment for adultery can only take effect if there are parties who lodge complaints to the authorities. Airline passengers in the European Union will soon be able to use their phones to full effect in the sky. The European Commission ruled airlines can provide 5G technology on board planes alongside slower mobile data. This could mean flyers will no longer be required to put their phone on airplane mode, though the specifics of how it will be implemented are unclear. The deadline for member states to make the 5G frequency bands available for planes is June 30th, 2023. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
You know, Savannah Pharmacy saved my life.
Really? Was it the medication they got you?
No, not this time. I forgot my wife's birthday. They were the perfect place for last-minute shopping.
That's one way to give yourself heart failure. Don't wait last minute for Christmas. Savannah Pharmacy is stocked up for Christmas right now. Gifts for men, women, and children. Home decor, clothes, toys for all ages, fragrances, candles, handbags, and so much more. I was there the other day, and trust me, they'll even wrap all your presents too.
Savannah Pharmacy, a lifesaver in more ways than one.
Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village provides you with more than just prescriptions. Always just around the corner with everything your family needs for this holiday season. WhatsApp your prescription refills to 929-5045.
They say variety is the spice of life. And that's why at Subway, we are introducing the new Boneless Hot Sub. Say what? The premium sub brings new ingredients like spicy breaded boneless chicken, French's crispy fried onions, and buffalo wing sauce, bringing a zesty and flavorful experience with every bite. Add some of your favorite veggies, cheese, and ranch sauce of your choice of freshly baked bread for the ultimate boneless hot sub. For a little spice in your life, try the new boneless hot sub from Subway.
So good and tasty.
And make it a meal with a drink and chips or cookies. Subway. Eat fresh.
Freedom, Cayman Rack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray, and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
'Tis the season of gratitude. From the MedLab family, happy Cayman Thanksgiving.
The Kirk Freeport Christmas Sweepstakes is back again, and for our 50th anniversary, we are giving away $50,000 in cash and prizes. Win one of three $5,000 cash prizes, a daily cash prize of $1,000, the Rolex draw on January 4th, or loads of other great prizes. Every purchase of $100 before noon on Christmas Eve qualifies for all remaining prize draws. Win your share of $50,000 of cash and prizes in the Anniversary Sweepstakes. Full details on KirkFreeport.com. Merry Christmas from everyone at Kirk Freeport.
Cayman Brac, your ETA for the air show is Sunday, December 4th at 12:30 p.m. Prepare yourselves for an unforgettable experience.
After more than 20 years, the air show is back in the Brac. Enjoy an aircraft exhibition where you can see the planes and meet the aviators at the airport. Then watch a thrilling air display as world-class pilots put on a stunning show. Free parking will be available at the airport. For full details and event lineup, visit CaymanAirShow.com. The Cayman Islands Air Show, landing in Cayman Brac, Sunday, December 4th from 12:30 to 2 p.m.
Switch from slow to experience data on the fastest and most reliable network. Our new Christmas specials are just for you, giving you the best value. Buy and stay on any Christmas plan and get 10 gigabytes any use data on us every month for a year. That means more music, more entertainment, more sports, and more ways to stay connected for the entire year. Available exclusively on our new Christmas plans. Hurry in store today to take advantage of this limited time offer. It's the Christmas that keeps on giving. Digicel. Merry Christmas.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Well, we're back, and before we give you just a little bird's eye view of really how commercial aviation got started in Cayman, I was curious, Alan, were you familiar with Connie Edwards?
Yes, I was. I knew Connie quite well.
Yeah, well, he was very, very, very deeply involved in the air shows down here in past years. You know, he brought all his planes out of his barns in Texas and showed them off down here.
Well, Connie was a great connoisseur of restoring these airplanes and keeping them up in the air. He also brought a lot of the airplanes that remained from the filming of the Battle of Britain movie. And he had a barn full of Spanish-built Messerschmitt Me-109s.
Well, I don't know. You know how his connection got started with Cayman?
No, I don't.
Well, Bay of Pigs.
Really?
Yeah. We won't go any further than that.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, it wouldn't surprise me.
No. Yes. Anyway, we're going to move on here with a shortcut, 2-minute cut that sort of sets up how commercial aviation really got started in Cayman. And Susan is over there on the controls, and she's going to punch that up right now.
I spent 6 or 8 weeks in Jamaica trying to get here, but I couldn't get home. There was no boat. They were doing repairs and renovation on the Webster's boat, the Black Bear, at the time. However, I found out from R.S. Gamble and Company that there was a man in Kingston, King Parker, who had a small amphibious plane, but it could take about 6 or 8 passengers, I think it was. And he would have come here to Cayman, but it would have cost each of us about 200 pounds or more to help to pay for his fuel and oil. However, I was going to come with him, but the Kirk B came in from Turks Island at the time, and the Gambles got her lined up to come to Cayman to take the crowd that was in Jamaica. And there were about 12 or 15 of us there in Jamaica, in Kingston, waiting for a boat or some way to come home. And we all piled on this boat and came down to Cayman. But before leaving Kingston, I gave Parker a sketch of the North Sound and the Georgetown Harbor in case he came down here, because he said he wanted to come to Cayman. He'd probably come here one day. Well, some months after I got home, I got a message that he was coming, and he came into Georgetown Harbor. And then we got talking after a bit with my brother-in-law, Duke and Marion, about the possibility of starting a plane service with this plane at Parker's, or he would get a PBY and start it, because he used to fly them at that time, seemed like. Anyway, he got it going with one plane, and it lasted for a while, and he got a second plane, but then they started having problems, and he came back and he wanted to have some money raised so that they could go and buy another plane, because these two were giving so much trouble. So he and Dukan went around and tried to drum up the money. I don't remember just how many, but it was 18,000 pounds they got, or what it was. I put 20 pounds in it, and that was all I got out of it.
Well, you heard that description there, and that was really the sort of dawn of commercial air service in Cayman. And Mr. Dalkeith was in the Royal Air Force during the war, and he was trying to get back home. This was 1945, right after the war. And you heard him mention he stayed in Jamaica for 6 weeks trying to get to Cayman. That's the way communication was back in those days. And Parker got the commercial end of it started, and of course, as Mr. Dalkey said, he ran into some problems, and then Wilson and Owen Roberts sort of bought what was left of Parker's operation, and it took off after they got the airport going. But that's just a little history there, and those actualities that you heard, the first one and this one, is from the C.I.Retro's Wattle Vault, and the voice you also heard in the background there sort of directing those short pieces was Radio Cayman's former deputy director, Doran Miller, and chief news editor. So that's just a little bit of history there, and of course I think we're coming up pretty soon to a commercial break. Sue, you want to take that break now, and then when we come back we can talk and wrap it up a bit.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
'Tis the season of gratitude. From the MedLab family, happy Cayman Thanksgiving.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vamps Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vamps Motors, Walkers Road. Tune in Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. for the Daily Sports Report, covering local, regional, and international sports. Proudly brought to you by Dr. Wayne Porter, offering a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. Call 946-9020 to book your appointment today.
The public has been advised of a portion of West Bay Road that will be temporarily closed this Saturday, December 3rd for the air show. Between the hours of 6 a.m. and 2 p.m., West Bay Road between Lime Tree Bay Avenue and the 7 Mile Beach Roundabout will be closed to vehicular traffic. Anyone traveling north towards West Bay will have to turn onto Lime Tree Bay Avenue and continue on the Esterly Tibbetts Highway. Vehicles will not be able to turn onto West Bay Road via the 7 Mile Beach Roundabout during this time. The RCIPS will be helping to direct traffic during the 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. closure of West Bay Road this Saturday from the intersection of Lime Tree Avenue towards West Bay.
So, you fought the Black Friday crowds, right? Got the Black Artist show for it, but no presents? Don't worry, Roro Variety has you covered. One day only tent sale, Saturday, December 3rd from 7 a.m. T-shirts 5 for $10, jeans, you name it, Roro has it. Shoes, household items, bathroom accessories, towels, clocks, and handbags. The Roro Variety tent sale, Saturday, December 3rd from 7 a.m. Roro Variety Store, Tropical Plaza, Spitz Road. Phone 924-9553.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks for joining us. It's really always a special privilege and honor to sit next to Mr. Loxley Ebanks as the C.I.Retro Talk Today presentation for the air show, which is not only going to take place here on Grand Cayman tomorrow, but in the BRAC on Sunday. Together with Mr. Loxley Ebanks, we have Mr. Alan Longtour together with Miss Luna. So I was just thinking, one of my friends whose mother, traversed the planet, back in the 50s and 60s and 70s, and she would, have a particular perspective. And Miss Luna, or name like that, the moon is the limit. It would be hard not to be involved in something galactic in a sense. So before we sort of ask you about tomorrow's air show and anything, Mr. Loxley, is there anything that you want to weigh in, or just get Miss?
Well, no, let's let Luna and Alan, tell us what can I expect to see, because some of the folks who witnessed the other ones are gonna, human nature are gonna start comparing, and. Well, you got to put on a good show.
Yeah.
Well, Alistair has put together quite a great show, I believe, for this return show for your Cayman Island shows. And the fact that it's going to 2 locations is exciting as well, I believe. Not often do you see the same group go and do a second show at another location on the same weekend. So that's very unique for your islands in particular. And he's brought in a renowned air show announcer from North America who has an incredible career with one of the top teams ever to be a part of the North American air show circuit, and that was, of course, the Iron Eagles. And so I'm just excited to be here and see in a different country, as an American who's done Canadian shows and U.S. shows as an announcer and a team manager for various jet teams, warbird teams, 2 or 3 of our own personal aircraft that I have pilots who fly for my husband and I at air shows as well. It's very exciting to be in a different country, but we're still going by our FAA rules that are set in place for our pilots, and that helps us a lot.
Well, we see ICAO standards, we see the British Civil Aviation, but our own Cayman Islands Civil Aviation Authority ensuring that not only international standards, but we want to raise the bar. I think back to what Mr. Allen was sharing, a 5-day voyage on a PB. I think to the caravans that came in, 2 decades plus before, just watching them being ferried and landing, and the logistics of having them land at our airport. But Mr. Allen, for those in the stadium watching a football match, or those on the, in the pit crew even, making sure that the car goes around the circuit safely, an air show, these are aircraft that are moving a little bit faster than I can talk. The commentating, you have to.
Well, it's a combined effort amongst the pilots, the ground crews, and the people that are doing the announcing. If we don't get the information, we have to lie a lot.
We lie a lot because those pilots are slow.
And as Luna will tell you, the unsung heroes of air shows are the announcers. And that's been like that since as far back as I can remember. But we're the ones that get the excitement into the crowd and describe what's going on, because otherwise people will stand there and they'll say, oh, that's pretty. But they don't know what the stress is that the pilots go through. They're not only talented pilots, they're athletes. Because they have to be physically conditioned to withstand the G-forces.
And they're putting on a performance, cognizant that there are spectators who are coming out. This isn't a training mission. This isn't a commercial flight. I was thinking back that, as Ms. Luna was sharing, we had the air show here on Grand Cayman on Saturday. We were on the BRAC. And to my recollection, in the previous times, I think to the fighter jets, for instance, they were here, and we know that they're going to be absent for 15 to 20 minutes. That was a quick jaunt to the BRAC, do a little spin around, and then back. And in the blink of an eye, almost, they're gone, made a pass over, head back. We'll have 2 separate air shows. So from the different aircraft that fighter jet moving much faster further out. It's for you to help us as the spectators to appreciate what is unfolding. It's not just this, metal, wonderful bird zipping by.
It's a story.
Mhm.
So if you look at each act, there's a story within it. There's the pilot, there's the aircraft, and a lot of it not only. And we've gotten sophisticated over the years by adding music to tell the stories. But if you look at each performance as the whole show is one big play.
It's a production.
And each performance is an act within that play, and the final performance, the final performer is usually, I would call it, it's the big one. That in the U.S. a show will sometimes end with Thunderbirds or the Blue Angels, or we have them the Snowbirds. But it's also, if it's a smaller show and they don't have one of them, they'll have the United States Air Force F-16 team and do the Heritage Flight. And this weekend, I believe it's going to be Skip Stewart and Kirby Chambliss, who are two of the most exciting aerobatic pilots in the world. Both have won championships in aerobatics, and Kirby was a Red Bull racer. They're going to be doing what they call the squirrel cage, and it's going to be the two of them flying two very dissimilar aircraft, the Prometheus Pitts, that is special built Skip's airplane, and the Edge 540, which is Kirby's. And so Skip's is a biplane, double wing, and then Kirby's is a fast, very fast aircraft.
It's a mid-wing monoplane.
Yes.
And Kirby's airplane is composite built, so it's not a fabric metal airplane. It's built with composite materials, exceedingly strong, and it just flies incredible.
But they have a routine together, and that's going to be the crescendo for the entire performances. Starting at 10, Mr. Allen here, he's going to kick it off, and we'll have jumpers, and we'll lead into up to about 1:30, and then from 2:30 to, I believe it's 6:30 tomorrow, 2:30 to 6:30.
We'll be at the ramp.
The pilots and their aircraft, all the aircraft that are here, will be on display for the public to come and see at the airport. So it's kind of a dual show, because not only do you have two different locations, but you also have the opportunity to see it at the beach and over the water, which is a different type of air show than over. You don't get to see them take off and landing, but now then the crowd can move on over in the afternoon, go have lunch, go move on in the afternoon and go meet the pilots at the airport. A lot of times when we do a beach show, they never get to meet the pilots. It's too far away. They don't open up the ramp. So this in particular is very exciting, I think, because
it's a great photo opportunity to photograph the airplanes and the pilots, and talk to the pilots that Luna are associated with, and take pictures of some airplanes that you won't see at an airport every day. And there's some military aircraft out there that'll be open for inspection. You'll be allowed to go up in the airplanes and take a look and see what's inside them. On the beach during the show, unless you have a terrific camera, it's hard to take these pictures, because the airplanes do these maneuvers so fast, you better be ready for it. So it's a great way, as Luna said, to meet the pilots and take a look at the airplanes and see how incredibly beautiful they've been modified. And it's going to be a great day, and we're very excited about it. And
well, I want to add to the coming out to the airport tomorrow, and I did check. It's 2:30 to 5:30. Kids, this is a wonderful time for families to bring children who might be interested in not just being pilots, but perhaps being a mechanic, learning something different about aircraft, and that there are careers in that, because all of these gentlemen who are flying, and I don't believe we have any women flying this weekend here at all, but a lot of them can speak to the children, and they love it. Traveling with a lot of these pilots, we as airshow performers and airshow professionals want to promote aviation as a career. I'm in marketing. I've been in the airshow industry for 26 years. And I started in marketing and went to announcing and managed airplanes and work solely in the airshow industry. That is all I do. I don't have a second job or anything. I own my own airshow companies that produce airshows, you name it. That's another career that someone could choose in aviation. There's aviation communications, there's marketing, but there's also pilots. Arthur Kielik, who flies the L-39 for the Kion Aerosports, he is a commercial airline pilot in Poland and in England and Europe. And Scott Farnsworth, commercial airline pilot here in the United States. And then Jerry Kirby, who flies number 2 on the Kion Jet team, is a retired United States Air Force fighter pilot. Kirby and Skip both fly as well professionally. Skip is with a transportation company, and Kirby is with a airline. So there's lots of people to talk to about careers, and I think that's important when you come to the airport tomorrow. I hope that we'll see a huge amount of people, not just on the beach watching the show, but coming to learn more and get enthusiastic, get excited about careers in aviation, because that's what we as performers and support personnel want to see. Is we're trying to find the next generation of airshow performers, airshow announcers, all of that.
All the professionals, huh?
And this may be where one child could be sparked and be that person to be the next airshow performer here in 15 years.
You know, you mentioned that many of these performers, these acrobats, aero acrobats, are former military pilots, because some of them don't really stay in through their whatever they were signed up to be or obligation, but they still miss that G thrill. That
adrenaline rush
that you get when you pull back on a F-104 or a F-106 or be it a F-15, 16, you know.
It's hard to walk away from it.
Yes.
Well, and that would be why I jive. Jerry Kirby stayed in. He flew 23 years in the Air Force, was an F-15C pilot, and then actually became an F-4 pilot at the end of his career. And that's how he got started in the airshow industry, was through the Air Force Heritage Flight Program. He was the F-4 demo pilot. And he got hooked on airshows. Started flying a T-33 for a gentleman, I'm not sure, Alan, if you remember Fowler Big Dog Carey out of South Carolina.
Yes, very well.
Very close friend of Jive's, and that's who got Jive a seat in a T-33 to fly on the airshow circuit. And since then, it's morphed, and he flies many things on the circuit. But leaving this, for him, he didn't want to leave the airshow industry because he saw what it did for the Air Force in terms of recruiting, inspiring the next generation. And it's part of who a lot of, especially the Air Force, they want to continue to inspire. And the best way to do that is to stay in the airshow industry and be a performer.
Yeah. Well, you know, the T-33, that was a very famous Air Force trainer. In fact, every time I hear T-33, my mind goes back to one day on the Eglin flight line. I almost ran into a T-33 taxiing up, trying to get a power source across the hard stand to a B-52 that they were having problem with the power, and they were in the middle of a countdown of the Quail missile, and they didn't want to have to start over the countdown, and I thought I looked everywhere, but I almost...
That would have been worth a couple of more years on your enlistment program.
For sure.
Now, Luna did mention that we didn't have any women performers out here this weekend. Well, with the fast track parachute team,
yes,
I believe there's like 5 women, and one of them, and I'm not sure of her name, so I won't mention it and get it wrong, but she's the mayor of Middletown, Ohio, where the team is based out of. So it's exciting to watch these ladies perform parachute jumps, and they're remarkable jumps because they're just not the normal parachute jumps that you'll see.
Well, you know, flying in general, I think, is sort of attracts a lot of people. I mean, you look what it did for Orville and Wilbur Wright. You know.
You did mention the fast tracks, lady. Don't forget, there's Amy with Red Bull Air Force as well, jumping. So they have their main female jumper, and she's amazing too. And I believe they're going to be at the airport with us.
Yes, I think they are.
So and
Fast Track has 10 jumpers that'll be out there. And hopefully we'll have the C-47, the aircraft that they'll be jumping from. That's out of Titusville, Florida, with the Valiant Air Command, I believe. And that'll be their jump platform.
That C-47 was what broke the Berlin air.
Exactly. That and the C-54.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a tremendous amount of history that'll be out there, and for the young folks that would, stand there watching parachute jumpers in awe and seeing what they do, and get interested in it. This would be a great opportunity to talk to these kids and get them further in aviation.
We have a listener who was asked if I could ask. I was just having a quick exchange with him. He says he's a young father, 2 young children, and he was interested in aviation, got sort of introduced to our last air show. The planes are fascinating. They're appealing. If you like planes or like boats, you gravitate towards them because of what they do. But wanted to ask, I think I read through what he was sharing, and I think, Mr. Allen, he picked up on what you were saying. The planes are zipping by. You look and you blink, you miss it. Was asking, are there any particular pointers that you could share so that he could share with his children in terms of not just educating them as to what we're seeing, not just coming out and say you did something, but as a takeaway so that as they engage in it, keeping their interests and helping them to appreciate more what is it that's happening in the planes. Anything that he could do to sort of help to prepare for tomorrow and the weekend?
Well, I would encourage him to bring his children out to the airport and give them a close-up look at the aircraft and the performers and talk to them. And if they have any questions about how they do these maneuvers, now you're going to see both Kirby and Skip. They will tumble their airplanes end over end like you pick up a model airplane and throw it. And it's just amazing. And they could tell them how they go about doing these maneuvers. Because to keep your head from being scrambled, you really do have to know what you're doing in these maneuvers. And kids would be just fascinated to look closely at these airplanes. And there's an awful lot that they can teach them.
If I could recommend,
Yes,
I would say go to the website for the Cayman Islands Air Show.
Okay.
Look up the performers. Go to their Instagrams, their Facebooks, their whatever social media they're on, or their websites to find out more about the pilots. But there's also a lot of things talked about on there. Like Skip will have maybe a video, and he'll say what the name of the maneuver is that he's doing. So look them up. Go ahead and look us all up. Look up the Keon Aerosports. Look up Kirby Chambliss, Skip Stewart, Fast Tracks, Red Bull Air Force. Look them up on social media because a lot of things are explained in our social media that we do because people ask us questions all the time as performers. And I think that, Alan's right. After the show, come to the airport. That's a great place to learn more.
Excellent.
Yeah, I might add, in reference to the question,
Yes, sir.
Tell the young ones to concentrate, to don't blink. Just pay attention.
Well, the action happens so fast. You really have to, if you want to take nice photographs of the airplanes in the sky, these airplanes are relatively small. Like the Pitts may have a wingspan of 17 feet, 20 feet, maybe. And they're out 500 feet away from the crowd line. Focus your camera on the airplane before he gets to the spot you want to take the shot. And follow the airplane. When he reaches that spot, click your shutter
quickly
and hope you got the shot. But that's why it's so interesting to actually get close-up pictures of the aircraft on the ground, because you can see so many details on these airplanes that you'll never see while they're flying.
And I think it's important. Important that the children actually pay attention and not be focused on trying to get a photo, because Mr. Allen is going to be telling everyone exactly what maneuvers are happening and how high and what the kind of G loads that the pilots are going through and that kind of thing. That's what I talk about in Keon. When they're flying, I tell you who the pilot is. I tell you what's going on. Listen and look. Don't be so focused on trying to get photos. You are not going to get the photos that the professional photographers who are all over social media have of these folks. And you're going to get better photos when you just go and get them on the ground. And look up, there's several websites or several social media. Airshow 360 has a lot of photos of different aircraft that are going to be flying. Their own personal pages. A lot of professionals we work with who do photos for us. So don't be so focused on trying to get your own photos and videos. Really pay attention. Really focus and listen to what Alan is saying, because he's going to be truly telling you what is going on in that cockpit, what those pilots are feeling, and what the maneuvers are. And that's the best way to learn.
As Luna says, it's important to go to these websites, especially with the jumpers, the fast track, and the Red Bull Air Force, because these teams hold incredible records and titles in parachute competition and demonstrations. The Red Bull team goes all over the world. And they've jumped off Mount Blanc on the Italian side, and it's just incredible what they do. And they also have these GoPro cameras attached to them.
Mr. Loxley, it'll be fun tomorrow, man. You'll be out there enjoying it, broadcasting.
Looking forward to it. I'm not going to have much to do. Alan will be doing all the work. Well, I guess we're just about at the end of this program.
I'm following your lead, sir.
Yeah.
It's a Friday. You're in charge.
Yeah. Well, we want to thank you all for coming on with us and giving us some background to what the folks can look forward to seeing tomorrow at Public Beach and at the airport. And look forward to a great air show.
Thanks for having us.
And hopefully that powers that be can pedal this thing along and maybe bring it back to where we were at in 2000 and 2001, when we were well on the way of getting the Thunderbirds or the Blue Angels to come in. But we know, I believe, why it was not continued, but we'll not go that route.
Well, as Luna said, we're really excited to be part of this celebration, and it's a wonderful opportunity to meet the people out here that we have, and they've been so nice to us and the rest of the airshow performers. It's been a real pleasure, and we haven't even gotten to the show yet.
Well, that's just a preview, as Ms. Cathy shared. And the gentleman said to please thanks, the advice is good. He was, I'd say, using an internet search, but you directed him specifically where to go. And he wanted to use it, I guess, teachers would say, use a teachable moment. Your advice in particular is to pay attention. Don't worry about the photographs. Take the memories and look. Mr. Loxley?
Yeah, and that was one caller or one listener, but there are probably another half a dozen, 2 dozen out there who were in the same thought trend. That's why these programs are important to get the folks out there educated on all this stuff.
Well, it's going to be a great day. Hope the weather cooperates as we expect. Not only a wonderful, safe time for the pilots and spectators, but a wonderful, enjoyable, memorable occasion. So thanks for joining us, Ms. Allen.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you
It's been a pleasure.
Well, it's an honor. Always, Mr. Loxley, for having you. Let me the privilege to sit next to you and learn. And to our listeners on the air show tomorrow here in Grand Cayman, and we're back on Sunday come back for more of our radio morning show with Mr. Orit for the record on Monday morning, and then our monthly mental health matters being the first Monday of the month. It's scheduled for Friday. It is December, so all things can happen. Even on the weekend, things change, but that's the plan. Until then, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.
Shaken yet standing firm. This is Radio Cayman in the Cayman